guys, it's Eli, and got another video. Again, with side control, that's where everybody hates to be equally. I don't know anybody that's like, yeah, I love being bottom side control and getting smashed. So I want to identify a process of escaping that we can kind of make manageable for us. And the idea behind this, overwhelming principle behind all of this is going to be if you need it, it'll be there. If it's not there, you don't need it. So I'll kind of show you what I mean. So starting with kind of a basic escape, and we're going to go into like a little more specialized condition. So first of all, if Blake's on top of me here like this, and so this is pretty late here. It's chest to chest. He's under my head. He's underneath my arm. Now, if I can, from this position, I don't want to be flat on my back. I want to stay up on my side quite a bit, which means my knee, hip, and shoulder are all up off the ground on this side and a little flatter on this side nearest him. This wrist here, this forearm is going to kind of monitor the hip here like this. I don't want to drive too hard because it's going to get more of his attention. He's going to address it more. I would like for this arm here to be underneath here and holding his trap so that there's a little bit of leverage so that the tighter he squeezes, the more he's kind of choking himself. So it's a little bit of a deterrent. Then the first basic escape that I want to look at doing is just replacing my guard. Now, whenever I go to replace my guard, there may already be space here if it's early, but if there's no space, I'm gonna have to shrimp or possibly even bridge and shrimp to make space. So I'm gonna bridge up like this. That takes his elbow here off the ground, which makes me able to shrimp out. If his elbow is stapled too heavy to the ground, I'm not gonna be able to move out very well. But whenever I go here to bridge, I shrimp this way, and now I'm gonna shoot my leg inside here like this. This leg here may bite his back, or it may go to the floor depending on where space is available. Either way is gonna keep me nice and attached to him. What I expect here is when this knee comes through, most common response that you ever get from people once you shoot this knee back inside is this hand coming down to push it back through again so that he can finish coming through and passing, right? So knowing that once this leg here, this knee comes through, what I wanna look to do here is I'm gonna scoop it up. So this one that was in his hip, since now I've replaced this wrist and the hip with my knee, I'm gonna come up, I'm gonna gable grip my two hands here like this. I'm gonna think about my right elbow going up toward the ceiling, pushing my shoulder and knee on this side away from each other like that. Now, once I have the space and I get this foot here to the floor, I'm gonna shrimp again to that side so I can finish clearing all the way out. I'm gonna get a nice high guard up on his back. Maybe I get greedy and I even take this arm out here with me. And if I do, then maybe I can even finish with an arm lock here. If you want to be extra about it, you want to get to this arm lock, I'd like for my foot to go in the hip, my knee to come up high on his shoulder, pinch the wrist between my ear and my shoulder on this side, hug nice and deep, right on the back of the tricep tendon, squeeze, crush, do a crunch like that, and then crunch the arm. So that one is kind of a late one, but let's make it worse. We're gonna look at a worse condition here. If, for example, I'm not even able to get my frames inside here, and maybe I can still get it here, but look what he's done. He's dropped his hip on this side, so I can't dish my knee underneath to replace my guard. And he's isolated my arm, which is very dangerous for me. I may be able to force this back inside, but if I can't, we'll talk about what to do next. Since because his hip is sprawled out like that, I know his leg is here. Right? It has to be. So I'm gonna get up on my side again. I wanna throw this left leg all the way across my right and his leg here this way to scrape up and then trap his ankle this way. My hand is still here monitoring the hip, and I'm gonna reach this hand way over. Since I can't get it back inside, I'm gonna go way over here by his armpit. I'm gonna get some gi here if the gi is available, or just cup the armpit if it's not. And then I'm gonna start scooting. I'm not pulling him across me. Instead, I'm dishing myself underneath him. So I start scooting here like this. And once this knee becomes available, because of the leverage here that I have on his knee and his hip, I start scooting this way. I come up, and I wanna keep this pushed away from me so he doesn't immediately replace the guard. A lot of times once I roll the guy over here and he loses his top position, he's gonna try to either scramble up or replace the guard, and I wanna prevent that from happening and establish my good top side control like that. Sometimes whenever I start to fish for that leg there, it may not be there. But here's the idea. This is what I was talking about being the overarching principle right now. If I need it, it'll be there. If it's not, I don't need it. When I talk about it, typically I'm talking about space. Whenever I'm creating spaces, the spaces I'm creating specifically are gonna be on the wedges of the body. So think about by the neck, the armpits, the hips inside and out, maybe even the elbows and the knees as a kind of secondary consideration. So when you think about creating space there and then filling space there, now you're gonna be able to really like occupy that space and manipulate that space. So what it looks like here, whenever we get to this position, is, let's say we're in that same position again, he's got chest to chest, he's isolating my arm, I'm in a pretty bad spot right here. If this leg here isn't available, where's he gonna move? Yes, he has to like move it away from me. So now he's kind of moving into this kind of like a modified scarf hold kind of position here like that. So let's go back. So when I feel his leg is there, but then I start to fish for it and he starts to dish it out of the way like that and move away from me, it's very important right now that this hand here that was in his hip drives the elbow to the floor. Now that the elbow is on the floor here like this, it's gonna be hard for him to like keep me as flat as he could have before, and it's gonna make me able to get up in just a moment. Now, because this is awkward with his lower body twisted, he may start to pull this arm back, hopefully, and then I'm gonna bring my hands inside this way. Right? I may block here initially, but as he's pulling his hand back, I'm gonna take my hand from across and I'm gonna chase his elbow. So whenever he gets here, I wanna find my web of my hand into this elbow here. I brace my elbow to the floor and I drive up, 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 and I look to turn him over and get to my top position this way. If he's retracting his arm, I'm not gonna fight and try to pull it back to me. That's not gonna do me any good. I'm gonna chase and accelerate the process to kind of take him over his center of his base, and that's gonna make it difficult for him. Sometimes he'll try to shut me, like the only thing he's gonna really do when I start to do that to really mess things up for me is he may scramble. So you'll see this sometimes, like we'll do that same kind of idea. I'll go here, I start to fish for the foot, he takes it back through, he starts to retract, I start to drive up here. If he doesn't wanna fall over, he'll start to scramble, but in the scramble, he's allowed me to regain my guard. So I've got this kind of butterfly or modified open guard position. I've accomplished what I wanted, which is to get out of that nasty side control like before. These here are some concepts for getting out of side control that kind of operate on kind of a systematic approach to creating spaces and then filling spaces appropriately. So, you know, you can look at this as kind of a linear progression, and each of these are kind of standalone items as they are, and they can also be kind of intermingled depending on how he shifts and changes. The big thing to recognize is where the space is being created. How can I best manipulate those spaces that are created and fill those and occupy those? And the other thing too is to not get too just committed to one specific escape that you just want to do when it becomes inappropriate energetically to do that, because now you're going to lose efficiency. So anyway, I hope you like these. I hope these help with your escaping from side control, or at least like mitigating the misery of being under side control. And yeah, thank you. Let me know what you think about them in the comments. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that stuff. Thank you for watching, guys.